Hey, everybody, welcome to Coffee with John. Welcoming back Oz Konar, founder and CEO of Business Lending Blueprint. Start your own home-based business at businesslendingblueprint.com. Oz, I'm looking forward to talking with you because you work with people in the lending industry who are transitioning from where they are to starting their own business. 4 million people left their jobs in April to, whether it's find a new home, new career, or start their own business. And so talk a little bit about, from a transition standpoint, how your blueprint helps your niche market of lenders.
Yeah, I mean, I don't recommend anything I haven't done myself. Like,
that's a good footnote.
Yeah, because it's difficult to understand what people go through if you haven't gone through it yourself, right? Yeah. So I left a job that was paying me over $200,000 to start my own business. People thought I was crazy, but it's a very, very stressful period in somebody's life. And when I left the job, things didn't really pan out the way I wanted for the first year. So it was really a painful process. So when someone comes to me and they go, I'm going to burn all the ships and I'm just going to quit my job and start a business. I'm like, whoa, hold on. What's the plan here? What are you trying to accomplish? So somebody's at point A, they're trying to go to point B, right? So there's a gap in between. How much is that gap? Why is there a gap? And how are you planning to get there? So that's the transitional period that we need to understand. So we can't take it lightly. And I want people, especially my people, have a clear understanding of how to transition from where they are. So we could talk about something called BAMOS, BAMOS, bare ass minimum. So I want them to understand what's the bare ass minimum they need to survive to keep a roof over their head, right? So we got to keep a realistic approach to that. And let's say that number is, I don't know, $5,000 a month. All right, so you have a job that pays you $5K right now. You want to transition to a business. Well, the first goal, yeah, I'm sure you want to make $1 million, but you got to make your $5,000 so you can transition and save that 40, 50, 60 hours of job with commute and all that stuff, right? Then we can talk about the objective, which is the next step. Where do you want to go? Like, obviously, you want to probably double, triple that. And the stretch, if you could have all you wanted, how far would you want to take this? 20,000, 30,000, $1 million? I don't know. That's up to the person. But we want to have very clear definitions of how this transition will look like. I will never be like, John, you got this, man. Just quit your job, drop everything. Don't even pay your bills. Let's start a business. Like that's not really how it works.
No. And I love what you're talking about. I love the BAMO. I love the BAMO because, when as a business coach, when I'm talking to clients, and a lot of times I'll ask them, what's your hourly rate? And so when you look at something, you realize you're getting paid X, and all you have to do is figure out a way. I'm just throwing out a random number right now, is make $100 an hour, X amount of hours a week. You can then kind of reverse engineer how many clients you need, and it's not as big as it seems. And so really kind of chiseling down that, I'm using your terminology now, the BAMO. Am I getting there? Is BAMO? Or just, yeah. But I think what you're talking about is, to me, if you are not accepting where you're at, if you're not in a place of enjoyment, if you're not in a place of enthusiasm, then this level, I think, of awakening comes where you're looking for something new. And that's where I agree with you. If somebody like you who's done it and then created a blueprint and now using that to help other people, right? That's a great way for people to accelerate their path. And so that transition can be really tough. I want to talk before we close on a full-time transition or a part-time transition, because I think a lot of times people aren't in a position to jump 100%. So can they do it part-time and then evolve to full-time, or how does that work in your?
Yeah, most of our members started part-time because of responsibilities, right? So you have a job, you probably have a family and maybe kids and all that stuff. So you can't just give your full commitment. That's why whether you do what I do or any other business, I think one of the requirements that someone needs to make sure that they can start on this venture part-time, because that's what's going to be required most of the time. Only probably 5 to 10% of the people can do this full-time, and they have the luxury of the time to just, you know, keep what they have going on while they're building a full-time business. Yeah. But that's why it's important, because those, you know, most of the times transitions are not clearly defined, because even people, like you said, they don't even know what their hourly rates are usually. They just they're always thought to think big, and they have this X number out there, right? So I'm going to make 500,000 a year. Yeah, but you got to start with making 5,000 first, right?
Well, thinking big, to me, the way I define thinking big is doing small things every single day that compound to your big.
Wow.
So you can think big, but you have to then reverse engineer and take initiative and execute on a consistent basis for things to compound. And so we're kind of talking the same language. You know, and I think what I'm hearing you say also, and what I see every day, is you've got to plan. You've got to allocate time in your calendar to plan. And maybe that's a week, a month, a year, or 2 years. But you've got to find the time to do the planning to make sure that everything is really as secure as possible for yourself. And then you have to have the courage. So I appreciate, I love a good blueprint. You know, as when I work with my clients, I work with them on a roadmap and a blueprint for them to get to where they are, to where they need to be. I'm a big believer the same level of consciousness that got you to where you are can't get you to where you need to be. Tell everybody, Oz, how they can connect with you if they want to learn more about the blueprint.
Sure. Everything we have is on our website, from, you know, testimonials to free trainings, which is businesslendingblueprint.com.
I love it. Oz, I appreciate you in this 2-part series. I had a great time interviewing you on the Think Business podcast, and I'm glad you could join us for coffee this morning.
I appreciate it.
Awesome day. Yeah, Think community, thanks so much. If Oz can help, reach out. Thanks, everybody.